Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm starting a review and read through of the books of Charles Fort. As always, you can find all episodes of the show, along with links to social media and other ways to listen and ways to support the show, over on the website, which is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. Support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows. Also, please check out the links to all the friends of the show in every episode description. Jen, the Arcane Observer, and her channel, and Michael Strange and the Trouble Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, as well as the show Trouble Minds Radio, for all the help that they provide in doing these shows and putting my shows on the network as well, for as far as Michael Strange goes. And that network, you can listen to shows from myself and several other amazing people 24/7. So definitely recommend that. And those can all be found in the episode description. So I'm starting something new tonight. A few years back, maybe 4 years back, something around there. Time is weird. I did a relatively brief summary of the books, the nonfiction books of Charles Fort. And they were a lot of fun to do, but also they were just very brief, just descriptions of some of the things that Fort talked about. I didn't cover any individual cases, or at least not very many. And so I was thinking about this other day, and I realized what I really wanted to do was go through and read all the books of Charles Fort, the nonfiction books, and just go over each case by case, and just mention them and talk about them. And because the thing is with Charles Fort, with his books, these things that he writes about have not really stopped happening. You can still find reports of them here and there today, the present day. So there's still it's still relevant, and that's why I wanted to do this. So we're going to do that, and it's going to be an ongoing series for probably quite a long time. I thought I was done reviewing things. I guess I just realized that I want to really be interested in whatever I review, and this is something that has come up recently. So we're going to start with that in this episode. And basically what I'll do is I'll read for a while, and then I'll stop and talk about what I just read, and we'll go from there. So, and I will make mistakes in the reading, but that is going to happen because this is not this show is unedited as far as the content goes. So I apologize for that, but with all that said, here we go with the books of Charles Fort. This first book is the Book of the Damned, and I'm going to start reading here. It says, "A procession of the damned. By the damned, I mean the excluded. We shall have a procession of data that science has excluded. Battalions of the accursed, explained by pallid data that I have exhumed, will march. You'll read them, or they'll march. Some of them livid, and some of them fiery, and some of them rotten. Some of them are corpses, skeletons, mummies, twitching, tottering, animated by companions that have been damned alive. There are giants that will walk by, though sound asleep. There are things that are theorems and things that are rags. They'll go by like Euclid, arm in arm with the spirit of anarchy. Here and there, will afflict little harlots. Many are clowns, but page up here, down here, many are of the highest respectability. Some are assassins. There are pale stenches and gaunt superstitions, and mere shadows, and lively malices, whims and amiabilities, the naive and the pedantic, and the bizarre and the grotesque, and the sincere and the insincere, the profound and the puerile, a stab and a laugh, and the patiently folded hands of hopeless propriety, the ultra respectable, but the condemned anyway. The aggregate appearance is of dignity and dissoluteness. The aggregate voice is a defiant prayer, but the spirit of the whole is processional. The power that has said to all these things that they are damned is dogmatic science. But they'll march. The little harlots will caper, and freaks will distract attention, and the clowns will break the rhythm of the whole with their buffoonery. But the solidity of the procession as a whole, the impressiveness of things that pass and pass and pass, and keep on and keep on and keep on coming. The irresistibleness of things that neither threaten nor jeer nor defy, but arrange themselves in mass formations that pass and keep on passing. So I'm going to stop there. That's the first section. And he's describing all this information, all these reports of anomalous things that he has gathered through newspapers, through scientific journals over the years that he was looking into these things in the early 1900s. So, and there you just see he has a very, to me anyway, very interesting style of writing. And this may not be for everyone, these shows and this style of writing. But yeah, I will totally understand if some people just lose interest in this because it's just so different. But yeah, so moving on to the next section here. This says, so by the damned, I mean the excluded. But by the excluded, I mean that which will someday be the excluding. Or everything that is won't be. And everything that isn't will be. But, of course, will be that which won't be. It is our expression that the flux between that which isn't and that which won't be, or the state that is commonly and absurdly called existence, is a rhythm of heavens and hells, that the damned won't stay damned, that salvation only precedes perdition. The inference is that someday our accursed tattered demalions will be sleek angels. Then the sub-inference is that some later day back they'll go whence they came. So that's that section there. So and again, he's talking about his reports that he's collected, how they'll be looked at again later on, which they have been. If anyone has, a lot of people, even if they haven't looked into the works of Charles Fort and all of his reports that he's gathered um, from newspapers and journals and things, most people within the paranormal world seem to be usually at least familiar with the name of Charles Fort. Not everyone, because everyone has their own path into these topics and things like that. I mean, for instance, I had never heard of Art Bell until years after his main show on the radio was done. Just because I didn't listen to the radio a lot for talk shows growing up. It was always just for music. So these things happen, but in general, it seems like, as so many people have heard of, let's say, Art Bell because of his show, there are a lot of people that have heard of Charles Fort. So, getting back to the book here. Let's see. Find my spot again. Okay. It says, "It is our expression that nothing can attempt to be, except by attempting to exclude something else. That which is commonly called being is a state that is wrought more or less definitely, proportionately to the appearance of positive difference between that which is included and that which is excluded. But it is our expression that there are no positive differences, that all things are like a mouse and a bug in the heart of a cheese. Mouse and a bug. No two things could seem more unlike. They're there a week, or they stay there a month. Both are then only transmutations of cheese. I think we're all bugs and mice, and are only different expressions of an all-inclusive cheese. Or that red is not positively different from yellow, is only another degree of, let me see, whatever vibrancy yellow is a degree of. That red and yellow are continuous, or that they merge in orange. So then that if upon the basis of yellowness and redness, science should attempt to classify all phenomena, including all red things, as veritable, and excluding all yellow things as false or illusory, the demarcation would have to be false and arbitrary, because things colored orange, constituting continuity, would belong on both sides of the attempted borderline. As we go along, we shall be impressed with this, that no basis for classification or inclusion and exclusion, more reasonable than that of redness and yellowness, has ever been conceived of. Science has, by appeal to various bases, included a multitude of data. Had it not done so, there would be nothing with which to seem to be. Science has, by appeal to various bases, included a multitude of data. Then, if redness is continuous with yellowness, if every basis of admission is continuous with every basis of exclusion, science must have excluded some things that are continuous with the accepted. In redness and yellowness, which merge in orangeness, we typify all tests, all standards, all means of forming an opinion, or that any positive opinion upon any subject is illusion built upon the fallacy that there are positive differences to judge by, that the quest of all intellection has been for something, a fact, a basis, a generalization, law, formula, a major premise that is positive, that the best that has ever been done has been to say that some things are self-evident, whereas by evidence we mean the support of something else. That this is the quest, but that it has never been attained, but that science has acted, ruled, pronounced, and condemned as if it had been attained. What is a house? It is not possible to say what anything is as positively distinguished from anything else if there are no positive differences. A barn is a house if one lives in it. Excuse me. If residence constitutes houseness, because style of architecture does not, then a bird's nest is a house, and human occupancy is not the standard to judge by, because we speak of dogs' houses, nor material, because we speak of snow houses of Eskimos, or a shell is a house to a hermit crab, or was to the mollusk that made it, or things seemingly so positively different as the White House at Washington and the shell on the seashore are seen to be continuous. So no one has ever been able to say what electricity is, for instance. It isn't anything as positively distinguished from heat or magnetism or life. Metaphysicians and theologians and biologists have tried to define life. They have failed because, in a positive sense, there is nothing to define. There is no phenomenon of life that is not, to some degree, manifest in chemism, magnetism, astronomic motions. White coral islands in a dark blue sea. Their seeming of distinctness, the seeming of individuality, or of positive difference, one from another, but all are only projections from the same sea bottom. The difference between sea and land is not positive. In all water, there is some earth. In all earth, there is some water. So then, that all seeming things are not things at all, if all are intercontinuous, any more than is the leg of a table a thing in itself. It is only a projection from something else. That not one of us is a real person if physically we're continuous with environment. If psychically there is nothing to us but expression of relation to environment. Our general expression has two aspects. Conventional monism, or that all things that seem to have identity of their own are only islands that are projections from something underlying and have no real outlines of their own. But that all things, though only projections, are projections that are striving to break away from the underlying that denies them identity of their own. I conceive of one intercontinuous nexus in which and of which all seeming things are only different expressions, but in which all things are localizations of one attempt to break away and become real things, or to establish entity, or positive difference, or final demarcation, or unmodified independence, or personality, or soul, as it is called in human phenomena. That anything that tries to establish itself as a real or positive or absolute system, government, organization, self, soul, entity, individuality, can so attempt only, by drawing a line about itself or about the inclusions that constitute itself, and damning or excluding or breaking away from all other things. That if it does not so act, it cannot seem to be. Then, if it does so act, it falsely and arbitrarily and futilely and disastrously acts, just as would one who draws a circle in the sea, including a few waves, saying that the other waves with which the included are continuous are positively different, and stakes his life upon maintaining that the admitted and the damned are positively different. And that's where we'll stop with this episode. This section does go on. But all this is really just getting into Fort's thoughts on all of this, which is just what is allowed, what is not allowed, and what is everything. It really is. It's been a lot of fun to read so far, but difficult. You'll see his style. He does go on and on. This is not writing by the rules, so to speak, in a lot of ways. But hopefully I haven't run you all off just yet. We will get to all the anomalous events that Fort covers in his writing. I'm pretty sure it'll be relatively soon. This is just sort of him explaining his way of thinking when it comes to everything in general. And so thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.